Well, this is the time of year so many of us are contemplating tackling home renovation projects. Leanne Cusack has builder Steve Barkhouse of Amsted Construction in studio to highlight a popular one. Before we get to that, I have to welcome you back, Leanne. Good to have you back safe and sound from Kathmandu.
Thank you so much, Michael. It is really, really good to be here, and thanks to all of the viewers who have reached out in the most warm and wonderful ways. I really, really appreciate that. And actually, on this program, we may be settling debates raging in homes. If in fact one of you wants to renovate your kitchen and the other says, no, we're just not going to get the money back, don't throw anything at the TV set right now, but Steve Barkhouse has information, tried and true. The facts are, if you spend money on a kitchen renovation, typically what happens, Steve?
You typically get most of it back the day you finish. So if the average is if you spend $100,000 on a kitchen renovation, the day you finish the renovation, you would get $86,000 back of that when you sold your home. Again, most people aren't renovating to sell, but that's a good investment.
That's quite a kitchen too, a $100,000 kitchen. That's not necessarily what we're looking at today, but we are looking at a fantastic transformation, and so many of the kitchens are ultra modern and sleek and beautiful, but some people are traditionalists, and that's the case for this couple.
Absolutely. They've lived in the home for 20 years, empty nesters, so they've got a little more time and space and money, hopefully, to do something with the house. They entertain a ton, and they wanted to get their house more usable for that entertaining. They had no sight lines from the kitchen to any of the living spaces. It was a one-person kitchen, and you can see it going by there. Very dark, no counter space to work with. You can see the passageway that are all tight. The transition spaces are all halls. You can't get out the back patio door because there's a table there.
Now, for a builder like you, you say that that's a tight passageway. For many of our viewers, that's a typical passageway.
Well, it is. But they just wanted to get being able to see. So you can see it's kind of dark with the appliances in it. There's one light that lights up, so we're going to look at lighting as well. But there's only one area that you can work on that counter beside the sink in that kitchen. There's the eating area right there. So we moved the kitchen and we flipped it to the dining area and put the dining area in the back.
That's how you did it, okay.
Yeah. So we slid the kitchen down, so a lot more space, lots more working areas you can see in there.
And that's a room divider in the foreground, which we'll see from a different angle.
Yeah, which lets you look, it's a half wall, lets you look right into the living area. Back in the corner, we'll get a closer look at that in a sec, is the little banquette. So built in, so really efficient space use there. And it's to encourage people to sit in the kitchen area while the dinner is being prepared to entertain.
You have a live studio audience. It's like being on the Food Network.
And maybe you could encourage them to help join. So there's the view from the living area, which before was cut off from the kitchen, and now you can entertain, be in the kitchen, and feel a part of it if you're in the living room sitting there. A lot better furniture layout, and you can see the access now to the back patio door is much better. And that's, you see the island with a little sit-up bar there for two people to have their breakfast at. The appliances, really great tile work. Again, the arts and crafts, so you see the different pieces, the green cabinetry along with just the oak finished cabinetry. Both are oak material, but they really stand out, the arts and crafts and the little details in the trim work that make it the arts and crafts.
And arts and crafts has stood the test of time.
Well, absolutely. It's just so much fun. The homeowner is into colored glass. Help me out with that. Painted glass that we see in churches. Stained glass, there we go. Sorry. And the tile work in behind on the backsplash picks that up. So you can see the framework in the tile. You can see a stained glass fixture above the dinette, the banquette area. Lots of different lighting. You see the pot lights, the pendant lights, the lights above the cooking area, so the lighting has improved 100%. And you can see the natural lights just flowing in there.
Exactly, and now you have access to all of that beautiful natural light. And I have to say, it's a good thing you watch so much hockey, Steve, because you really did play-by-play commentary as Pat Sagan was bringing up the new images. A lot of viewers will wonder, though, you flipped the kitchen and the dining room. What about plumbing? I mean, how much of a cost does that add to a reno job like this?
Sure. It can add a bit. It depends. Again, once we go in and do a forensic inspection, we can tell if it's an open basement or the ceiling's accessible. It's not a big deal to slide the plumbing down. The big problem is if there's structural issues. And in this case, we took out a wall that wasn't structural. We moved a little plumbing, a little mechanical, heating and ventilation, and it all fit in. You couldn't even tell that's what was in the columns, and they looked like they were supposed to be there.
Well, it's so interesting because when you have someone come in, when you have an expert kind of come in and look, you're not locked in to where something's always been. And to know about, what the structural possibilities are. You've had great experiences with a ton of different home transformations, and sometimes all it takes to really change things up is a window or some lighting. When we come back, Steve Barkhouse is going to talk us through the ABCs of LEDs. We'll be back with that, Michael.
Well, let's go back to Leanne now. She's going to have Steve Barkhouse answer some of your questions. Leanne.
A lot of pressure on Steve, Michael. Steve has to light up our lives right now because most of the questions, actually Steve grouped them together, all about LED lighting, which has so changed. It has come so far in such a short period of time. So you're pretty excited to share some of the options.
I really am. It's one of those things that's really, like you said, taken a quantum leap in effectiveness. We're used to seeing them in our flashlights and in our phones, and it's so much more than that now, and much more energy efficient. So it's very cost effective. We're going to pop these guys in. A lot of people have the fluorescent lights, especially in the basement, but even at the office. And this is a replacement bulb, so you can put that in your existing fluorescent fixture. A lot of people don't know that.
No, we don't. So take us through everything. Because, all right, from a vanity point of view, a lot of women did not like the LED light when it first came out because it was that really kind of acidy blue color. It's changed.
And we can still achieve that. And the reason for that is the electrons jump from one part of the diode to the other, and it creates different types of light. And what that allows us to do is, it's like baking a cake. We can mix and match the elements in the diode, and we can create different types of light. So we can give you a spectrum from the very bright blue white light all the way down to, this is more like your incandescent light.
We'll hold that steady for everyone to see. I don't know how well it will translate on camera because we have a lot of different competing lighting sources here. But what you wanted everyone to know is, if you would like pot lights, but you think, I don't want to cut a huge hole in my ceiling,
insulated
how about
attics.
a little hole in your ceiling?
So that one just sits right flush up against the drywall. You just cut a little hole for this. It's low voltage, so you can run the wire in behind the drywall. There's not an electrical code issue with that. If you did punch a hole in it, it's not going to zap you.
Show everyone what it looks like.
Yeah,
so it's like a flush mount.
Exactly, and a nice light that comes out of that, similar to your
and a lot more
lights.
affordable.
Absolutely. Well, a lot less work to put it in. Right, so it's much easier, and it runs on much less, 75% less energy to run that.
So, speaking of affordable, I have to just jump back to our last segment because I'm sure a lot of people at home are thinking, yes, we want a new kitchen. How much did that kitchen cost?
That one was $75,000 with all of the cabinets, and we did some work in the other rooms. So between $50,000 and $75,000 for what we showed.
Had to go back there because I knew you wanted to know. Now back to the lighting.
So
you
maybe
wanted
back
to compare
to the pots.
These two.
Yeah. So this is your halogen pot light. You can put your hand over that. It's really hot in a hurry.
Now, why would I put my hand over something that you're going to say is hot in a hurry, Steve?
And this one, you can put your hand right on. So we were talking to JJ earlier about ceiling fans, and you want to lighten your ceiling fan. Well, if you've got halogen lights in your ceiling fan, and the fan's going, it's driving the hot air down. So you put the LED lights in there, much, much better, and a much nicer light because you can adjust it. You can put them on dimmers, not a problem there.
And they use a lot less electricity.
Yes, incredibly so, and they last 1,200 hours. A normal incandescent lasts. These guys last 50,000 hours. So they're a little more expensive to buy, but they just last forever.
And your environmental conscience will feel good.
Yeah.
Now, this is a different bulb, and where would you
that's your replacement for your incandescent. So any light fixture you have, you just screw that in, and away you go. And now you've got LED lighting. And LED, like you said, has come a long way. So you get all different types of lights in the LED.
Different types of bulbs.
And bulbs, exactly. And it's not what people used to think of for LED lighting. That it
How
was
many
just
renovators does it take to change a light bulb?
I know.
How could I
couldn't help
resist
yourself,
that?
could you?
So this is a great little primer on LED lights, and you're a huge fan.
I am, and if I could, one thing to take away, if I could, we got these from Marchand Electric. If you pop into a lighting store, they'll have them all out for you, so you can see the different types of light in different circumstances. Bring a painting in so you can see how it reacts with the light. And with the LED, we can adjust the different light levels so that you can get the one you want.
And just to recap, the two fluorescents here, they're both LED?
LED bulb in a standard fluorescent fixture, and then this is the replacement fixture for LED.
I don't think that this is really flattering lighting, Steve, right now, but it did serve to offer a bit of a lesson. Thank you for that. Really, really great to have you here. We appreciated the kitchen reno. If you have questions for our builder, Steve Barkhouse of Amsted Construction, by all means, send them along and we will get to them in due course. Michael, you wanted to know how much the kitchen renovation was, didn't you?
Absolutely, I did.